Welcome to New Sky TV. A shocking turn of events. Guo Yuxin rejects a 3 billion yuan contract and turns to film a long drama in Hengdian, wrapped in 3 layers of cheongsams, in the 40 degrees Celsius heat. Actors are not fast-moving consumer goods. Guo Yuxin tore up an 8-figure contract for a short drama and filmed a long drama in Hengdian, wrapped in 3 layers of cheongsams, in 40 degrees Celsius heat, replacing loud sobs with silent tears. While the industry chases quick money from short dramas, she chose to spend 8 months polishing a complex character, throwing away her ambitions and sticking them to her ideals. This is the true rebellious spirit that pulls the industry back on track. She tore up an 8-figure contract for a short drama and turned to the 40 degrees Celsius heat of Hengdian, filming a long drama wrapped in 3 layers of cheongsams. Forgive my bluntness, but this is not foolishness, this is throwing away her ambitions and sticking them to her ideals. On January 27, 2026, photos of the start of filming for Yuzhang Qiu were released, showing Guo Yuxin soaked in sweat under her cheongsam, looking like she had just been pulled out of the water. That day, the temperature in Hengdian was a solid 40 degrees Celsius, but she didn't complain once. She even proactively asked the director to change the scene, changing the planned loud crying to silent tears. She said, "Actors aren't fast-moving consumer goods." Hearing that completely broke me. It is against this backdrop that Guo Yuxin's choice stands out so starkly. While the entire industry was racing towards lowest cost, fastest return, she suddenly slammed on the brakes. Not because she had no other choice, but because she clearly understood, the louder the bubble, the closer it is to bursting. Short dramas aren't inherently bad. The problem is that when everyone uses the same template, the same emotions, and the same satisfying moments to grab viewers' attention, the content quickly depreciates. The platform's data is already quite honest. Similarly, a hit short drama in 2024 could still be watched 2 or 3 times, but starting in 2025, the completion rate visibly declined. Viewers no longer applauded the plot twists and turns, they just mechanically scrolled past. The thrill was like fast candy, stimulating at first, but leaving no aftertaste. Long dramas, on the other hand, are the opposite. They are slow, difficult, and don't please algorithms, but once they establish themselves, they can last a long time. The character in the Jade Hairpin in Autumn, from her initial arrogance to her inner turmoil and eventual transformation into a cold, hard villain, couldn't be simply portrayed with a single line or glance. She had to make the audience understand why she turned evil, not just accept that she was bad. A bad performance of this kind of role can have a backlash 10 times worse than a short drama, but a successful performance leaves a completely different impression. So you'll find that she wasn't disappearing for those 8 months, but rather accumulating experience in a different way. She didn't seek attention, didn't chase trending topics, and didn't rely on on-screen couples to maintain discussion. She simply quietly honed her craft. Many people don't understand, thinking she's not smart. But truly smart people are quietly observing. Because the industry is entering a new phase, the golden age is over, the margin for error is decreasing, and audiences are starting to selectively choose actors. Do you have a representative work? Can you handle complex characters? Are you worth watching a 40-episode drama? Short dramas can't answer these questions. Guo Yuxin, however, submitted her answers ahead of time. Her move wasn't just about short dramas, it was about cutting the ingrained habit of speed over quality. She used her choice to force the industry to face a fact: actors aren't commodities for generating traffic, but rather an integral part of the content itself. When the bubble truly bursts, you'll find that those who remain aren't the fastest to jump, but the most stable. And looking back at this rebellious move then, you'll understand, this wasn't recklessness, but a clear understanding of the future. In my opinion, such actors might rise to fame more slowly, but once they do, they won't easily fall from grace. That's why her attack is so sharp. You'll find that Guo Yuxin isn't choosing sides, but rather redrawing the line. One line is, constantly squeezing emotions, physical health, and moral boundaries for raw. The other is, accepting slowness, difficulty, and risk, but at least being worthy of the title actor. That line was something no one dared to draw in the past. Because drawing it would be tantamount to admitting a cruel fact. It's not that audiences don't love acting, it's that the industry is too lazy to support it. Why is the short drama assembly line so frenzied? Because it's essentially the most extreme cost model in the content industry. Scripts can be copied, emotions can be plagiarized, actors can be replaced, and even tear-jerking moments can be broken down by AI. As long as the viewership matches, everything else can be postponed or even ignored. But the problem is, people aren't algorithms. And audiences aren't either. You think the audience is enjoying themselves, but they're actually wearing down their patience. When plot twists become pre-made meals, madness becomes fixed camera angles, and acting skills are compressed into 3-second memes, the audience leaving is inevitable. And Guo Yuxin, at this crucial juncture, chose to put herself back in the low-efficiency zone. 1 month, 1 role, 1 main storyline. She doesn't chase trends, doesn't gamble, and doesn't even guarantee results. In the current climate, this is almost equivalent to anti-commercial. But it's precisely this anti-commercialism that gives her choice symbolic meaning. She's not rejecting short dramas, but refusing to completely instrumentalize actors. It's not I can't act fast, but I don't want to only act fast. If you look back at the children's filming restriction order, you'll find it's not an isolated incident. It merely illuminated a corner of the long-neglected shadows of the industry. When babies are used as props, when extreme emotions are used as selling points, when actors are treated as disposable resources, this system should have been pulled back long ago. That's why Guo Yuxin's step hurt so much. It hurt so much that some mocked her, some rushed to distance themselves, and some repeatedly emphasized market rules. But the true market rule has only ever been one: audiences will leave content that doesn't respect them. Her actions may not save the industry, but at least they opened a crack, allowing people to see again that actors don't have to rush to monetize, that roles still deserve to be taken seriously, that slow doesn't equal failure. When the tide recedes and the bubble bursts, those names that were quickly created, quickly consumed, and quickly forgotten will sink with them. And those who remain are often those who choose to work quietly during the noisiest times. In my opinion, true rebellion is never about confronting anyone. That's why you'll find that Guo Yuxin's choice has tremendous long-term potential. She's not creating a persona for herself, but forcing the entire system to rethink a deliberately ignored issue. If all actors only chase the fastest returns, what's left of the content? When acting skills are broken down into data particles, when roles are compressed into emotional labels, actors ultimately become replaceable parts. Today it's you, tomorrow it can be someone else, even the name doesn't matter. What she's doing is essentially refusing to be standardized. She'd rather spend 8 months nurturing a character's growth than overdraw her professional lifespan in 18 days. In the short term, this may not seem smart, but from a career trajectory perspective, it's a truly clear-headed choice. Because actors who truly go far don't rely on a single explosive performance, but on consistently memorable roles. There's a harsh truth in the industry: short dramas don't make people famous, they make the format famous. Long dramas leave behind a name. Guo Yuxin clearly understands this. She's not in a hurry to be remembered, she cares more about how she's remembered. So you'll see that she doesn't explain, doesn't defend herself, and isn't in a hurry to prove anyone wrong with her achievements. She simply quietly finishes filming, delivers the role, and lets time heal the wounds of her choices. This restraint is a rare quality in today's environment where everyone wants to be trending every day. More importantly, she leaves a replicable path for those who follow. Not all actors have to squeeze into short dramas as a springboard, not all newcomers can only survive on quick money, and only by pandering to algorithms do you deserve to be seen. When someone stands up for the first time and says no, the industry may have a second answer. Perhaps her move won't change anything immediately in the short term, but it at least makes some people realize actors can have choices. Refusing is also a form of strength. A few years later, when audiences start actively seeking out watchable performances, when platforms reevaluate retention instead of instant popularity, looking back at this contract dispute, we'll see, this isn't going against the grain, it's changing course ahead of time. Truly substantial rebellious spirit is never created through arguments. It's not that you took a more difficult path, but that you still managed to stand firm and go far. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next video. Thank you.